ancient culture. Ancestral behavior passed down from generation to generation, to you is considered here as ancient culture. You don't see it, but you are taught and guided to imbibe and practice for success in life. Even though there is no proof it might have existed previously, it does exist in the present and has a significant value attached to it. To our ancestors who lived 10,000 years ago, the design of death and life was clear, and so were nature's laws, and the most profound gems of wisdom flowed to them and were immediately visible. Man led a life of relative detachment from others, though they were fully involved in society and life, since it was evident that one day they will die. Death in life was commonly visible and happened all around, in birds, animals, insects and plants. Death, mourning and revival was evident in animals. When death or calamity occurred, it was considered as nature's design, and this gave internal strength to move on. When things were not coming, silence and patience was the answer. The birds and animals patiently and without screaming, wandered over woods, mountains and land looking for food all day long. Man went about doing their duty, since they knew that when he sows now, food will come in a few months. If he doesn't, it won't. Hence it was imperative. Two important aspects of this culture are: 1. Living through a life cycle, children need to act like children, teens as teens and adults as mature adults and not as teens, or kids. And 2. Living in tune with nature, anything can happen at any time, meaning there can be thunderstorms or disasters in which overnight communities may be wiped out. Forget the past, as you can't do anything about it, and live life to the fullest, while you are alive. There was life in people. Keeping death as inevitable, people live life to its fullest. These thoughts and attitudes have helped them lead stable lives, in spite of the precarious nature and times they lived in, with no security of the next meal, or of getting back home from hunt or harvest. Animals and diseases may have cut lives short frequently. Yet we see very intelligent and stable cultures evolve, as opposed to the violent and unstable society we live in today. These lessons were invaluable, and served as psychological anchors, over the next tens of thousands of years. As societies started to move across continents, these values helped them cope with the environment and with the people who opposed them or welcomed them. As man grew from nomadic and ape-like inhabitation, to stable agrarian forms of living, that were stable and secure, the lessons taught by nature would have been easily lost, if not for their enforcement into the next generation, by way of culture. Though the actual reasons may be hidden and not always known, the stability they provided was evident. They have helped provide stability for millennium. Many of the rituals followed during childhood, adolescence, marriage and motherhood were no doubt a response to nature's pressure and acted like a coping mechanism to prevent future problems, and were not and cannot be a figment of one person's imagination. Respect for nature was deep. To help propagate that respect, a God existed for each and everything. Stories were built around them, usually revolving around a common theme that acts of compliance are rewarded, and deviations are punished. People excelled in specific skills, which gradually grew into services for humanity and into careers. These led to castes, if occupation could be treated as one. People respected their occupations and worked to gain respect from society by doing it. If one understands them, it is our heritage. Even if one doesn't understand, but try to follow and then inquire, to find reasons, one emerges that much wizened. During ancient times, the concept of living was straightforward. It is wrong to believe that they didn't have systems. The focus was on the individual's life cycle, and living as a joint family. The youth were guided, through initiation and various cultural practices. The area was not much divided due to limited population, and the concept of hoarding onto land didn't exist. Even during ancient times, humans were mentally evolved much more than animals. If they felt hungry, they did not kill others and eat, as cannibals do. The present-day values have deteriorated to such an extent that people kill within family to gain wealth immediately. A pregnant woman was well cared for, irrespective of culture, and detailed processes existed as to when to bathe and how and whether with warm water or cold water, etc. There was a respect for the child, for the coming human life. Today, a school child may get pregnant and abort, with not a second thought or remorse. The various ceremonies and beliefs that accompany death or any other stage of the life cycle help give stability to the person. As we have advanced, we have moved away from this most fundamental aspect of existence, which is human life itself. In the 21st century, there is value for business, brands, cars, homes, fashion, and crime, and even for criminals, but there is almost no value for human life. We may be advanced, but what does that advancement mean when the older parent is sent out of home to live in an institution, or when the wife of own child is abused? In essence, there is only one culture called human culture. The ultimate human culture is one that can work towards reviving the ancient culture as is required in society today, to provide psychological comfort and strength, along with physical and social support. Only an ultimate ancient culture, one that is a comprehensive and powerful digest of those of different people and nations, can bring the focus back on our own lives and others, and help us develop to become something in society.